What's up, y'all? If you have a Chevy Equinox 2025 and up, maybe a Chevy Traverse, any GM vehicle, you might notice the radio looks good, but sounds terrible. In this series, what we're gonna do is we're gonna revamp the entire sound system, and we're gonna do it mainly using this. It's called a digital signal processor, also known as a DSP, but not just any DSP. We're using a Helix DSP. And the reason we want this is it has the ability to do input RTA, real-time analysis, which is where I'm going to actually analyze the signal coming out of the radio and fix it, which is something GM should have done, but hey, here we are. So this is my first time using the DSP, and there are a bunch of videos online on how to use this thing, but they could take hours to get through. So in my video, I'm just going to show you exactly what needs to be done on these cars. This is called the Helix DSP Mini. It takes 4 inputs in from the speaker level, and they give you 6 outputs. So in my case, that's front left, front right, rear left, rear right, then 2 for the subwoofer. So first impression, this thing is beautiful. It's really compact and really light. So you can mount this anywhere. I think I might mount this underneath the passenger seat. You're gonna have to connect the computer to it. This would be an easy way to do it. But yeah, this is basically gonna be the brains of the operation, and this goal is gonna take the radio signal that we're getting out of that shitty radio, fix it up, and then send that out to the amp. And this also has another feature on the back end where I could connect the microphone to it, hear what kind of response I'm getting from my speakers, and then clean that up again on the output side. So I'm also going to revamp the entire sound system using Down4Sound Shop. And I have 2 amps I'm running, one for my mids and highs and another for a bass. For the bass, I'm running a JP11. For the doors, I'm running a JP 100x4. Here's the JP11, a beautiful green color. This is beautiful. Green is my favorite color. And when you flip these over, you can even see inside the amp. So if you want to, you can mount it this way. You can see you have all your connections, your gain settings. Comes with a bass remote that matches the amp. Look at that. That's like a little twin. And then it can read voltage. So as you're slamming, you know if you're losing too much voltage to your bass or not. This is a smaller brother for the highs amp. But yeah, there's no shortage of selection knobs. You could run this active if you wanted to. And it's so small that the RCAs actually have to come off a pigtail. So for speakers, I run the Down4Sound JFX series. So up front, it's a 2-way component. Like this is the 6.5 mid. Look at that build quality. Feels like a rubber surround. Cone feels some type of fiber. Whatever it does, it feels really nice. And look at this basket. Spring terminals. Like a lot of care was put into making this thing. Beautiful silk dome tweeter. And it even comes with an adapter so that you can mount it. And then it's being ran off this crossover. As you can look in there, you have tweeter attenuation. So if you hook this all up and the tweeters are too bright, you can actually lower them. These crossovers are huge though. There's no way I will put these in the door. So these are gonna go back by the amps. So the component set is good for 150 watts per side. I'm gonna send about 100 to it. For the rear door, I'm doing the coax version, and yeah, they did not slouch from the build quality of these either. So yeah, in this build, we're going for an SQL system. I'll try to get as much sound quality as I can, but the goal is also to get loud. For the subwoofer, I'm looking for a Down4Sound DBZ 12, but I haven't ordered it yet because I'm gonna have to build a custom box, and I wanna get this all situated first, so let's hop into it. Ooh, I spent a lot of time on this. What we finally done with the amp rack. I got it set up like a dual level so the wires can run underneath. As you can see, I got wires coming here, onto the small amp, and no signal wires cross with the power wires. I got 2 bus bars, one for the crossover, one just to connect to the factory wiring. Then here are all my tweeter adjustments so I don't have to take this apart. So the tweeter fits, but only one can actually go through this hole. But here I just kind of like held on the lip. It's cool, it's not going anywhere. Then for the wires, if you throw them in and you look to the right, you can pop them all straight out, and these are what's gonna go back to the crossover. so now we got everything hooked up. It's time to do this DSP work. So to set it up, first you need to flatten out your EQ, and you also want to center your channels. All right, so now we're trying to figure out when is this radio clip, because we don't want to send a clip signal to this DSP before we do the work. Most people, they would play a 1 kilohertz test tone and check it with a O-scope. However, with this DSP, there's a better way. So the first thing I do is I set up my inputs on this software. It's IO, and basically we have 4 inputs. We have front, left, front, right, yada yada. I just want to make sure they're going to the right outputs, and then you can see I got it front, left, front, right, rear, left, rear, right, and then 2 subwoofer channels. And make sure all your filters are off for each channel. So now I have that done, I want to go to the input RTA section. And you can see I have my 4 inputs. And if I click this button, it'll start reading whatever signals being sent to it, while I play correlated pink noise at like half value. But we need to figure out which input actually plays the loudest at 1 kilohertz. So we found that the front right and the rear right both play right at 1 kilohertz pretty strongly. So now I know that when I want to test the speaker leads, I'm going to test the front right one or the rear right one. So right now I have a test tone playing at 1 kilohertz off the front right speaker. And you can see that's a clean signal. So I'm going to turn it up until this ain't a clean signal. So I'm going to show you what a dirty signal looks like. See how the top of these lines are squared off? Yeah, that's a dirty signal. So for me, the cleanest looking signal was 12 clicks from the top. That is now the new level that I'm going to do all my DSP work at. But wait, we're not done. Now that we figured out the cleanest on our head unit, there's an input gain that's attached to this DSP. So it's kind of hard to see, but there's a small input sensitivity knob and there's a clip light. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play that test tone out, and then I'm gonna try to turn this knob until that light cuts on, then back off just a little bit. That's matching this DSP to the sensitivity of my head unit at that volume we found before, which for me was 12 clicks from the top. Lights on, lights off, there we go. Okay, now that we're back, I could check each individual signal to see what kind of response we're getting. So now I'm gonna play a track called Correlated Pink Noise. You can get it from Rocker Fosgate on Spotify. So there we go, that's the front left speaker. That's the front right speaker. You can see there's a big difference between the front left and the front right towards the mid-range, which is probably what we're hearing. Back left speaker and the back right speakers match up with each other, but they're different. So our goal is to manipulate this input EQ to get like a flat signal across all frequencies for each channel. So we're gonna start off with the first channel, which is front left. So here for the lows, I pull what's known as a low shelf EQ. It just kind of pulls everything around it down, and as you can see, the new green, I've pulled the lows too low. So I'm just gonna move them up some. I'm at what, negative 7.5 dB. I'm gonna try negative 5. I'm just gonna gradually do stuff like this till I get like a flat green signal across, and that'll be my new input EQ for the front left channel. And there we have it. That's the response that I'm getting now with my front left. See how that's relatively flat? There's a few humps here or there. You'll never truly get it perfect, but that is what we want to send out to an amp. And just as a comparison, see, the light tan is the new signal. The orange is what was originally being sent in. You see that? That is not even. So now we're gonna do this for the other 3 channels. And this is how we're gonna clean up our EQ that comes from the factory radio that was hidden behind the scenes. All right, I'm done. It's not perfect, but I think it's good enough. So here goes front left, front right, left rear, left right. That's what we started with. And you see how like everything's different, everything's at different levels. Crazy bass roll off on the rear speakers. And here's the new EQ. See how everything's like level and practically even with each other? It's not perfect. I could come back and redo more of this as the weeks go by, but that is something we can work with. That is something we can send out to our amp. So the next thing we need to do is figure out what kind of filters did GM put in behind the scenes. So one of the biggest issues when you try to just take a stock radio and amp it up is there something called all pass filters. Too long didn't read. Think you have 2 speakers hitting. They both supposed to hit out at the same time, suck in at the same time. That's called their in phase. All pass filter flips the phase. So when one's hitting out, the other one's hitting in. Think about subwoofers. If you did that, you would cancel out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna detect the all pass filter, which is one of the main reasons we even bought this unit. And the easy way to do that is, now that you've EQ'd out your front left and your front right so that they're both flat, play them both at the same time, and then you see what kind of response you get. Now, since they're both flat and you're playing them both at the same time and reading them both, you should get the same signal. If there's an all pass filter, what you're gonna see is a strong, crazy dip somewhere. And there we have it. That's both the front left and the front right summed together, and you see it's a strong dip right here at 1 kilohertz. So the easy way to do this is to add my own all pass filter. And we're just gonna guess. We're gonna try it on the front left, and we're gonna set it at 1 kilohertz. So we're gonna pick a band we're not using, set it to all pass, set it to 1 kilohertz. So it's gonna ask you first order, second order. First order means it flips once. That would be like if this went down and just kept going. Second order means it flips twice, so it go down and go up. So the opposite should go up and go down, and should balance that out. So let's do that, then run the scan and see how it's looking. So then work on the left side, so I'll put it on the right side, and you can see the old signal had a strong dip here, while this one is somewhat flattened out. Overall, I think we fixed this signal going into the amp, and we should be good. It should sound way better than what the stock radio was looking like. So let's reiterate what we did. Straight out the gate, these are the signals we had coming out of the radio. Then we relatively flattened all the signals we had. Then we summed the front and left channels to see what kind of response we were getting. We noticed the dip down here. And then we applied the all pass filter to help flatten out that dip that we saw. So for the most part, we should be good and ready to go. All right, now that we fixed the signal from the radio, we need to actually fix the sound coming from our speakers. And we're gonna do this using pink noise and a calibrated microphone. And you put the microphone in the driver's seat. Afterwards, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a response, and then we're gonna use the EQ to make it match what's known as a house curve. An example of a house curve is inside the software, but basically humans inside the car, we like flat mids with more bass and then the treble to fall off at some point. Here's another representation of what a house curve usually looks like. So if we played and we got a response and we were all up here, the equalizer would make cuts or boosts to fit this line. And don't worry, the software is designed to do all the work for you. But I would suggest, grab some earmuffs. And the way we do this is we isolate each channel as we run through this program. So for example, I'm about to do the front left. I'm gonna make sure every other channel is on mute. Then I'm gonna click this, it's called RTA. It's the real-time analyzer. If I press start analyzer, it should start responding to my voice. See, you can see I'm getting a signal because I'm talking and the mic is picking up my voice. So all I'm gonna do is play some pink noise and then press this start measurement button, and I should get a reading of what the front left speaker naturally does as I play pink noise. And when it comes to volume, you want it playing loud enough so that this stays green. I would suggest you flip through all 4 channels to make sure it's loud enough for all 4 channels to read, so you don't have to keep adjusting it. But yeah, we're gonna do the front left channel right now. We already have the analyzer running. I'm gonna start the pink noise. I'll spare you the sound of that. And then I'm gonna click start measurement. I'm gonna show you what we get back from our front left speaker. After you get your reading, you wanna press this normalize offset button for the front left. And that's my new reading. And you see I need some boosts and I need some cuts, but I don't have to do this. The system will do it for me. So if I click this tune EQ button, it will automatically calculate the type of EQ that it needs. And then you click set EQ, boom, it does it for you. So if I take another reading, it should match this up perfectly. All right, so this is all 4 measurements without any correction. You can see how it's all wild and every shape is different, right? Here's all 4 after corrected. So yeah, they're different volumes because of different distances from the mic, but you see they kind of all share the same shape. And that's what we're going for. And if you see something like this, that's just a cancellation, probably the material in the car. There's not really much you can do about that. You could boost it, but it might not be worth it. But yeah, this should sound way better. So now that we handled that, we want to do time alignment. So basically, because you sit closer to the front left speaker, the sound gets to you quicker than the right speaker. So there's some type of delay they want to build into that. An easy way to do this is to measure your distance from every speaker and put it in here on distance mode, and they'll automatically do it. But you also could use the microphone using this automatic time measurement. So when you first booted up the software, if you click this folder here, it says test tones. It'll take you to a tab and you can say automatic time measurement, and you get this file and somehow play it off your phone or something. But if you play in this file as you do the automatic time alignment, it will click in between each speaker and automatically calculate the time alignment for you. So I went to the time tab, click this ATM automatic time measurement. It's gonna ask for my microphone. It's gonna ask me what mode I want to be in, like which is the reference. So my front left is the reference because our car is on the left hand. Then you're gonna click delay mode. It's waiting for a measurement. We're gonna play that tone we found, and then you're gonna click start, and it's gonna start clicking and doing its own measurements over each speaker. I would suggest getting the hell out the car while it does this. This noise is annoying as shit. Now, the last thing is rear field. So your rear speakers really aren't supposed to play as loud as your front speakers. I mean, it's your car, you can, but ideally you wouldn't. That way it keeps your sound stage up front. A way to do this is you turn these all the way down and you play music until it sounds good and you turn it up. A general rule of thumb is like -10 decibels from where you were. So I would go down to -11.6 for the rears, and that should blend well. And then after that, you know, play some music, see how you like it. Then from there, you can do your own little tweaks. Like, for some reason, my front right speaker has always been louder since the day I bought this car. So like on the front right, I decided to turn it down some, 3.6 decibels, just to make it sound the way I want. Because this is your system, you get to choose. But yeah, That's pretty much it. And then when it's time to set the gains on the amp, I want you to save and then load a brand new one that has nothing done to it. Then we're gonna play a 1 kilohertz test tone out, and then we're gonna try to max out the channel using this slider right here. So let's say you chose the front right, and then that's the RCA you're gonna use to set your gain for the front channels. And you're also gonna use this same RCA, you're gonna plug into the rear channels and set the gain there. And what we did there is we made sure that we set our amp to max out whenever this DSP maxes out, because we're gonna have a bunch of EQ curves. We don't know which frequency is gonna hit the highest target. But by doing that, you make sure you never clip your amp. So that being said, this system sounds really good now, really balanced. Sounds miles better than what I had going on before. It seems like the only thing that's missing, some bass. This thing is beautiful, man. Kind of mad I ain't built a see-through box. Big 4-gauge terminals. This reminds me of my Sundown SA12 V2 I had. So it's probably gonna bang just as hard. So there we have it. I tried to play some music, but I keep getting copyright strikes. But that Helix is amazing. It's a 10 out of 10 device. It cleaned the signal up so crazy on the front end. And then hearing how well it was able to do on the back end, I 100% recommend it. As far as the Down4Sound equipment, it sounds amazing. I came from a JL audio build. I did not lose any sound quality. This sounds amazing, and it's way louder. If you're worried about how long it takes to do this, if you do it to the level that I did it, it shouldn't take you that long. Even as a beginner, it couldn't take you more than an hour or two of just sitting in the car playing with the software. Now, granted, there's things we could have done better. We could have made the signal flatter. I could have tried to fight some cancellations. There's all kinds of things. You could really go down the rabbit hole with this. But if you just keep it simple, the sound system will be night and day different. GM dropped the ball on this one. But that being said, if you watch this video, please like and subscribe. A lot of work went into making this video. And yeah, if you have any questions, hit me in the comments. In the meantime, peace. It's been real.